in this New England semifinal series, covering semifinal playoff action here in Swansea, Massachusetts, and we're underway. Ball one back into the Chargers' end, and they roll that one up the wall and collect quickly. And that one turned aside at the red line by Lucas Martins. All the way on the other end, Alex Carrero tries to get it in. First 25 seconds gone here. And immediately, Martins turns that one back up the wall to try to get it out. Does not clear the zone, though, when a shot from outside comes in. Not sure if Rocha got a piece of that one. And Chargers gave it away. Martins again trying to punch that one in, and looks like they're just going to do a partial change from behind the play as Martins does go off. Chargers still maintaining possession here. Taking a look in the neutral zone. Was about to pass it off was Maselli until his teammate changed. So Maselli gets in with Carrero. Gets that one on net. Charging in and forced away. Held at the line. Joey Frank right in front of the Blue Devils bench. And he takes a shot that's handled. Almost frozen. Thought about playing it. And Rocha eventually does have to. Gets the whistle he wants, and his team will have a draw in their own end.
Yeah, taking the draw was a smart move here. But as I was saying about being this defensive game, that's something that the Blue Devils are going to have to be focusing on. Look at how the forwards just crashed in that as they pushed the ball down low.
Blue Devils again work it up and can't get it out. Mike Cordero, the one holding the line. Now on the other side, they try to get it in deep, and it just ends up out of play.
In the previous sequence, you saw a lot of players crowding the slot. It's not that the Blue Devils are going to have to be choking up on those shooting lanes. I see all three forwards going down into low slots, so they got to keep them out of that area.
And immediately a second dump in that doesn't quite work out for the Blue Devils. It ends up as an icing, and it'll come even deeper back into their end. Lining up along Rocha's right-hand side. Steve Carlos said to take that draw, and he lost it. Fumbled at the red line, almost lost it, just barely hung on there. That could have been dangerous. Cordero. Along the near side, Frank. Back for Cordero. Busting in right at the blue line. There's a quick shot. Down into the corner. First 2 minutes away here in the first period, scoreless. And that one comes all the way back down again. And yet another icing. So far early goings, and this has really been all Chargers, even though they've been held to the outside.
But this does mean that the Blue Devils line is stuck out there. They've been on the floor for the last few plays. They got to get a change going.
Barbosa almost won that one. Back down behind the net. Rocha holds on to that, not going to take any chances, and they'll just reset and try again.
And now that allows the Blue Devils to make their change. They're going to change all five runners on the floor.
And that's pretty much an ideal situation for them. Even though they didn't win the draw cleanly, it got back to Rocha, and he froze it to do exactly that and wash out the damage done from the icing. Swung at one-handed now behind the net. Blue Devils trying to work it out from pressure. Worked all the way back up the wall. This one not going to go for icing. Chargers forced to defend. Duarte swinging at that one. That one comes across to Silva. And held at the red line. On the backhand, scooped it back in as Kevin Pacheco. High slot just rolled off the stick of Duarte. That one passed in feet. Now along the right-hand side and picked up by Barbosa. Barbosa takes a look. There's a shot that's deflected. Bouncing around in front, Barbosa takes another shot, and that one goes wide. 3 minutes passed here in the first period, and still scoreless. That one's held in by Tom LePage. Blue Devils do eventually clear the zone, which forces the Chargers to tag up. But they maintain possession. LePage falling, tried to draw a penalty. Nothing happening there, and Rocha forced to freeze that one again.
With all the possession time by the Chargers, it may not look like that the Blue Devils are doing much, but Rocha is doing the smart thing by just taking a draw, allow them to reset. Again, when you're playing defense, it all starts with positioning, so watch where all of them set up.
Vasily won the face-off of the Chargers. That one back for Carrero. Along the half wall, trying a low cycle. Just wanted to get that one out in front for Botello, number 11. Stick goes flying, swatted at, and there will be a whistle. There's going to be a penalty on this one.
Now, is it going to be for the trip or is it interference for moving the stick? In any case, it's going against the Chargers.
Didn't see any signal from the official, but it does look like Eddie Botello is going to sit. And already hearing protests coming up from the benches. A couple last-second changes. Jonathan Ferreira in the face-off circle, matching up against Maselli. Ferreira wins it back. Takes the look, fakes. Sends it D to D on the other side on the power play for Ed Payne. Payne noticed some pressure from Paiva. Mike Paiva now has two Blue Devils on him, and he does manage to force that one up. Do they get it out? Yeah, they do. Possible short-handed chance. Here comes Paiva, right-hand side. Curls back up. Takes the look. They are on the kill, so he's just going to boot that back into his own end for Carrero. And sent all the way in. Good job by the Chargers, killing some clock here early goings. First penalty of the game. Game 1 of this semifinal playoff series in the New England Tier 2 division. And that bouncer eluding Ferreira. Blue Devils struggling to find some rhythm here. And LaForce goes down hard, immediately looks at the official. And the hand is up.
It does. Well, I don't see anyone going to the box right now. As you see LaForce going to the bench. Yeah, it does not look like that they're going to get another off the floor.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't get a good look at that as it was happening, but LaForce definitely thought he deserved a call. Didn't get it, but there's a shot ripped from the point. Steve Carlos in the corner, digging away at it. This one comes right back up the wall. And now here, Pacheco with speed. Rocha gets way out and aggressive. This one bouncing. Frank has it! Shot goes wide. Now behind the net is Pacheco. Pacheco can't get around his man. And this one's slowly coming up. Jason Peary takes his time and gains the zone. There's a shot! Oh! Didn't miss by much. Justin Stockwell with a great look. Had an open net and just couldn't hit the target. This one's still rolling. And it looks like we are at even strength here. So the kill done. Chargers back at even strength. And we stay at zeros. Zach Massa wanted to dump that one in. Just ends up out of play.
Even with the power play or some quality chances on both sides of the rink, you see a couple of automated rushes for the Chargers. Now, here's one for the Blue Devils. Up there. Not going to give it to us this time, but good kill by the Chargers. But the Blue Devils, they at least got a quality chance on, which will try to give their offense a jump start.
Barbosa and Duarte are going to have to reset.
All right, now let's take a look. So he gets away on the right wing, and that just closed up on him a little too much, but does get that rebound in just the right place for his other wingman to come in. Unfortunately, a little bit too much loft on the stick.
That ball gets knocked up and out of play once again. So not a lot of pace to this one. Chargers looking like they want their speed, but there's just been punctuated by a lot of stop and starts in the early going. Face-off won by the Chargers, and they continue to control as they punch this one in deep. First one on it is Kevin Pacheco. Blue Devils send that one into space, and chasing after it is Mike Silva, crashing the net, and he scores! Mike Silva gets his team on board first.
And what an unfortunate situation for Brandon Sylvia. It goes right off of Mike Silva. He was trying to clear it up the middle, but unfortunately, off the wrong jersey.
Chargers have it at the blue line, and that one just knocked off their stick as they try to answer back. Just past midway here in the first period, and the Blue Devils take a 1-0 lead here in game one. Chargers trying to regroup. Along the near side, working it up the wall is Jordan Crowley. 3 minutes to go here in the first period. This one coming to the far side. Picked up by Dominic DeRosa. He's expected to be a difference maker for the Blue Devils right now, but sort of like you said, Daniel, this is really a play-by-committee team, is it not?
Yeah, and Mike Silva got his first goal of the season, not in the way that he thought he would have gotten it, but I saw what Sylvia was trying to do. He was trying to shoot up the middle, but it looked like the ball just came off at the wrong angle. Just a very unfortunate situation for him.
And that happens. You get weird bounces. It's the playoffs, and I think that's probably how the Blue Devils want to play this. Very bend, not break. They survived the early rush here in the period against the Chargers, and really, even though the Chargers possessed for long periods of time, they didn't get a lot of great looks on Rocha, and now they're trying to enhance that lead. Blue Devils have it behind the net. Jonathan Ferreira getting pressed against by Maselli. Now in front! On the knees, player goes down, and there's a whistle.
Cole LaForce nearly had the opening that he needed, but he shot that one just a little too high. He has a lot of space and just over the crossbar.
Late stages of the first period, his team leading right now as they win the faceoff and take a quick shot from the point. That was Roy Kamara. Kamara can't hold the line, so it's sent back in. Ed Payne in a race to get to it. And another ball up and out of play. And do you think these pace disruptions are working for the Blue Devils right now?
Yeah, what have I been saying at the top of the show? This is going to be a defensive-style game. They know that the Chargers love to go right at the net. And this is what I've been saying. Positioning is critical when it comes to defense.
Absolutely. You don't want to give the Chargers that room to open the game up. And it's still early, but so far, the Blue Devils very much playing that defense-first kind of game. Now, hang on. Here's a chance for Botello, who takes his shot. Rocha way out of the top of his crease to make the stop here with 1:37 left to go. Botello swings his head into the air as he thought he had that one.
Well, he had the space, but the question is, who was right in front of him? He did have someone in front. That was Steve Carlos. Great job closing in that gap.
And here come the Blue Devils again with a shot from the blue line. That one looked at and then held by Sylvia. And, you know, how many times have we seen this where a team in those first 3, 4, 5 minutes just dominates possession, and then the first chance in the other direction ends up in the back of their net? Here we are late here in the first period. Blue Devils looking to close out period one of game one with a lead. Perry takes the face off. The Chargers have it, though. This one bouncing at the blue line in front of the Blue Devils bench with a $1:15 left to go. First period. Kamara in the corner, under pressure from Pacheco. That one almost given away to Massa right in front. High slot opportunity. Good defensive work to get to it first. That one goes past Joey Frank, but back to the red line. Still held. In front, they try to work it. That one bouncer and a swing and a miss. Pacheco wanted to get that one up to the point, but it took an unfortunate bounce for them, and the Blue Devils have it again. Slow things down. Given away at the red line. There's argues. Not sure what the argument was there.
They thought that the Chargers had too many men on the floor. And that's exactly what it is, I think.
Stockwell was on it. Sounds like our cameraman Rob Rieger was able to hear that discussion. Let's see, are they actually going to make that call? There was a whistle.
It does not look like it. They're having to draw at center.
There was the argument, though. Justin Stockwell was on it immediately. Now behind the net. We continue. 25 seconds left to go in the period. This one bouncing. Chargers possibly one, maybe two more chances if they hurry. They get this one behind the net. Rocha, again, being very aggressive with his play. On the left-hand side of the slot, there's a shot. Great opportunity by the Chargers. This one bouncing at the red line and swept away. And that's going to do it. No icing on that one. And definitely the player that I've got my eye on for the Chargers right now is John Pacheco, number 52. He's shown flashes of speed in that first period, and he scored 6 goals and 10 points in the regular season. He looks hungry out there, and I want to see what he can do. Obviously, Botello had that great play opportunity about that midway point as well. And we'll see if the Chargers can find an answer here in the second period of Game 1. In this New England Tier 2 semifinal playoff game. They have it at the circle. There's a attempted shot that rolls off the stick. Finds its way with an icing. Going to come all the way back in the other direction.
If you're the Blue Devils, you're certainly not going to let up here. Remember that the Chargers were in this situation in the Milet Cup last year against the Maple Shade Chiefs. And what made them champions was them being clutch. That came in the third period, so you need to keep attacking.
Yeah, that was a really exciting final game, and the Chargers did have a huge comeback to make it happen in the third period. So it ain't over till it's over. And again, this is a team that walked to an 8-1-1-0 regular season.
And there's something that we also need to point out. We are playing against Tier 2 champions. We've already lost one of our Milet Cup champions this year, Queen City Crowns, eliminated by the Raleigh Squall. But what made that happen was confidence and talent on the team. I want to see the confidence in the Blue Devils that they can pull off game number 1 of the series.
Yeah, and it goes a long way in just getting that first goal, especially in that sort of workmanlike way. This is not a team that's loaded up with superstar talent. Colaforce, obviously 10 goals in the regular season. That's a huge weapon. But otherwise, this is a team that does it as a team. And so you kind of want that first goal to be a little bit grittier, maybe a lucky bounce, and then you just carry the play. Here, first minute gone in the second period. And they're looking to continue that. LaForce, the lone forechecker. Actually, he did have help on the left-hand side. Chargers just lost that in the feet. It was Botello. Couldn't get past Payne. That one flipped a little high. Bouncing. LaForce getting real physical with his stick. Players go down. There's another shot. Bouncing in front of Sylvia. Swatted out of the air. And now coming in the other direction. Backhand pass by Ferreira. Down into the corner. Blue Devils are on it. This one, Steve Carlos just lost it. Vitello at the blue line, and they come on the attack. Vitello takes the high slot. Can't make anything do. This one down into the corner. Sylvia fights that one off. Carlos, first one on it. Takes a look in the corner. Sent across, and Chargers eat that one up. So, not a lot of smoothness. Now Hayer gets around the defender, takes the shot! Gloves! Oh, wow, what a save! Crashing the net. But Rocha keeps it out. Definitely want to see that one again if we can, as that comes all the way down for an icing.
Yeah, Rocha had made that critical stop. And then that ball floating in the air, he had to get really lucky because there were two Chargers players coming right after it. So here's the initial shot, goes glove side. That's your job as a goalie. And then the ball, oh, that was so close, just about an inch away on the far post.
Well, that's just how it works. This one stays. Blue Devils 1, Chargers nothing here, second period. Nice little footwork toe drag. There's a shot fanned on by Massa. And the Snow Angel looks like it keeps that one out.
Well, there may be a penalty coming for goaltender interference. I was wondering why Rocha was on his back. Let's take a look. So there's the pass now. Keep an eye on the slot. Where is he going? And yeah, runs into Rocha. And I'm trying to see if there was a push. I don't see it. So yeah, watch his feet. Yeah, he's in the middle of jumping and yeah, just collides with Rocha. So Joey Frank's going to be sitting for 90 seconds.
Tough break there for the Chargers, but you have to be responsible for your stick and your body when you're out there. And he was probably just trying to cause some havoc in front of the net, but instead he sits for a minute and a half. There's a great opportunity for the Blue Devils to grow that lead. Aggressive, and here's Pacheco on the penalty kill. I'm telling you, this guy's fast. Pacheco still causing all kinds of problems. Rocha comes way out, aggressive! Almost gave it away behind the net, and that could have been devastating, shorthanded. Blue Devils need to settle things down. On the left-hand side, Carlos gets in, builds the wall, and turns away. Stockwell on the opposite corner. That shot doesn't go. Fandat in the slot. Still can't get it out. Now lifted up and out by the Chargers, but clock still ticking down here on this power play, which has really been controlled by the Chargers as they trail here 1-0. Second period of Game 1 in the semifinals here in New England, Tier 2. Rocha, again, very aggressive. That one fanned at the red line. Blue Devils have to be careful. Ferreira almost gave that one away in a dangerous position. DeRosa can't get it in deep. And we are even strength here, so that was a power play that the Blue Devils really didn't get anything, and the best chance went to the Chargers.
That aggressive style of Rocha just makes me nervous every time he comes out of the net. Now that last one where he came out behind his net felt more like a necessity, as he had no one coming after the ball besides a Charger, so he had no choice but to play it around to buy some time.
And so far it's working out for him. LaForce takes the shot in from way outside that forces Sylvia to clamp on that one. Here almost midway here in the second period with a 1-0 score still.
The Blue Devils have been benefiting from short shifts as they just throw right in front of the goalie and just take a draw. And a couple of Chargers not too happy with one of them standing right on top of Sylvia.
In the meantime, Rocha continuing to play that ball, and he's not going to quit. There's some more pushing and shoving in front of the net as DeRocha took a glove to the back.
And yeah, this was well after the play. Yeah, there's a little push from Sylvia. You can see Alex Carrero seems to be playing peacemaker, just trying to get the Devil player out of the area.
Blue Devils have it in their own end, give it away at the red line. Crowley takes that one into the corner and loses it to Rosa. That one goes high, possibly off a stick. Fighting for that one. DeRosa and Carrillo. Now into the corner, DeRosa has it. Sent up the wall softly. LaForce behind the net. Takes a look. A lot of bodies to have to get that one through. And there's a whistle as it comes to Kamara.
Didn't see what it was. So Blue Devils were in possession of the ball. Let's see if this shows us anything here. Well, the most I see is in front of the net, but I'm not really seeing anything. Are you?
Not sure. Not really sure. LaForce had the ball, and there wasn't a penalty, so it just came out into the neutral zone. Well, nonetheless, we play on here. 4 minutes left to go. Second period of Game 1 in this semifinal series here in New England Tier 2. That one sent behind. Rocha just going to snag that one, too. He knows when to play it and when to freeze it.
Yeah. Can I see that one more time? Because I think I may know why that whistle blew. You know what? I think it may have been a crease violation. Look where the center is. His feet are in the crease. Yep, that's what it was.
Good eye, Daniel, and thanks Justin in studio for being able to get us that second look here only on the NBHL on MVP TV. Face off here. Christian Maselli taking the offensive draw. And he does win. Chargers behind the net. Botello right up to the blue line with a quick shot by LePage. Top scorers out here for the Chargers. They're still looking for that response. Turning, fires his Botello, and that one turned aside by Rocha. Chargers turning up the energy here all of a sudden. They kind of here to start period. Late, still looking to.
That's a great chance by the Chargers, as you saw the backhand, but I think there was some defensive help in the slot. Rocha was just firing up onto the left side post, but I think one of his defensemen just gave him a little bit of assistance with the stick.
John Pacheco and Paul Duarte clash here. And the Chargers have it. Nice little self-pass the stick to himself by Joey Frank. Frank has some speed on the backhand in the slot. That one turned aside by Rocha. But the speed started to come alive here for the Chargers in the second period. On the backhand, lifted up and out and all the way down for an icing with exactly 3 to go here in the second.
Well, the Chargers trying to make that push. Again, they have been known to be clutch, but that usually comes later in the game. We're still in the second on the long change. We'll see if the third period mixes things up for a bit.
Pacheco and Duarte clashing again. Pacheco wins it back to the point. Quick shot. That one bounces off the end boards in a high bouncer. Players still jousting for it behind the cage. Chargers have it, and it's Frank with a quick turn and fire. Pressed off by Duarte, protecting his man in front.
Well, Duarte doing his job, trying to clear the crease. No problem with what he did. So watch the number 1 in the slot. See, there's the initial shot, and try to take away that rebound opportunity, try to get him away from his goalie, and not make it too overly dramatic.
Chargers still have it at the red line. Good stick there by Louise. Alan Louise broke up that plate and comes down again for another icing. 2:31 left to go. And like you said, Daniel, in the second period, these consecutive icings, keeping your players trapped out there while the other team can change, this could be a problem.
But if there's one thing that we have seen from the Blue Devils, they usually benefit from short bursts of play. They usually try to keep it short and sweet. They take a draw whenever they have the opportunity.
Top weapons out there for the Chargers. Maselli wins that one with a bat out of the air. Gets it down for Paiva in the corner. Mike Paiva trying to beat 2 men and can't. Doesn't lose the ball, though. In double coverage, that one goes up. Maselli, he's under pressure. Swung at by Kamara as they try to clear the zone. Still in feet, and now eventually they do. Blue Devils player goes down in a heap. No call on the 2-on-1. A shot to save. Sylvia.
Mike Silva has scored the only goal of the game so far, but that was off a lucky break. Nearly got one with the wrist shot just from being in the circle. As they produce those offensive zone turnovers, just being a big beneficial part of the Blue Devils defense.
And then just a breakdown in the neutral zone that turned into that 2-man rush for the Blue Devils. They still lead this one 1-0. Chargers trying to settle things back down, and Tom LePage has it. He had 14 points in the regular season with 10 assists. Maselli gets around his man. 3-on-1, and it's broken up. Good defense again. The Blue Devils stymieing this loaded attack by the Chargers, the defending champs. Shot on net and handled by Rocha.
You can thank Kevin Pacheco for that defensive effort on the odd man rush. Again, it comes back to positioning. You look at that 3-on-1, where are you looking at? You're looking at passing lanes.
Late year second period, and the Blue Devils, the name of their game right now seems to be frustrating. They are just frustrating the Chargers. Although the Southcoast Chargers have had a much better second period. Well, at least second half, I don't know. Maybe I take that back. They had a good look until that first goal. Nonetheless, they're in a hole right now, and that one goes up and out of play.
Blue Devils appealing that it should be neutral zone, saying it went off a stick, and it looks like the refs agree.
Barbosa having a chat with the official. And he's lining up against Steve Carlos. Carlos wins that one clean. And this one high, gets gloved down at the blue line. Chargers gain the zone. Down in the corner, they take a look. Defensive pressure, but Carrero has it. Now 2-on-2 in the corner. A lot of work being done there on both sides. Blue Devils have it. Possible 2-on-1. On the backhand! This one bouncing behind the net. Glove down in front. Period winding down. 20 seconds left to go. Rocha way out of his net. Keeps this one going for his team. On the other side, Final 10 seconds in the period. Chargers are going to have to hurry if they want anything to happen. Looks like they're not going to get it, and we close the second. But the Blue Devils still retaining their lead. The third period set to be underway here in Game 1. The defending champs, the Chargers, at risk of dropping down in a 1-0 hole. They got 10 minutes to find an answer, and they almost had one right there. Fresh out of the gates, and here they come. That ball doesn't find its way across the red line. Back on the other side, Joey Frank, backhander, tries to shovel that one on net, and Barbosa makes a chance. They keep it in, now behind the net. Another bouncer on this side, and it does clear. No icing, though, so picked up by Cordero. Blue Devils take a shot. Sylvia turns that one away. Off the giveaway. Now Blue Devils have it again. Back to the point, and another shot from outside. That one blocked and ends up going up and out of play. But a good push here by the Chargers to start the third.
And right off the start, the Chargers nearly broke open the third period as they almost got a goal in the style that Silva had scored back in the first period. But once again, you see Jason Rocha hug the net, just take away the lanes.
There's almost a tuck from LaForce behind the net. Good look, and it makes you wonder if the Chargers are starting to bemoan those missed opportunities early on. There's a chance on the rush! Rocha keeps it out with the help of the defense. We play on. Chargers aren't coming alive, though, and Daniel, you said this would happen. This is a team that is a third period team, and here they come again! Patella with a shot that goes wide. Minute and a half gone, and the Chargers have come alive. Blue Devils try a little bit of a move there. It's Stockwell. He follows it up, though, into the corner. LaForce behind him. Cole LaForce has it. To the slot, he takes the shot, and Sylvia turns it away. Stockwell gets that one back into the corner for his teammate. That's DeRosa. Stockwell looking for LaForce. LaForce on the wrong side of the net, though. Still battling for it. LaForce comes in. A lot of shouting comes up. Maybe a broken stick, not sure. LaForce is gone, and he changes off. They keep it alive, though. DeRosa lost it. Tom LePage tried to get out for his team, and here come the Chargers in the other direction. They gain the line. There's a shot up high, and Rocha denies Maselli.
And a bit of chattering going on at the bench. You can hear the frustrations come out from the Chargers. And even when Christian Maselli was taking that shot, you can see the frustration, but in the meantime, the Devils are going to go down for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Dominic DeRosa is going to sit for a minute and a half, and the Chargers take their time out. They have come out of the gates here hot to start the third period. We knew this was going to be their best period.
That's Captain Alan Louise having a chat with the officials about what had happened there. But now with the Chargers on the power play, their power play unit has got to include their top 6 forwards, and the Blue Devils are going to have to play in lockdown mode. I say play the box, but also play tight.
Well, this is a critical moment for sure. Special teams on both sides need to step up in a big way. A goal here completely changes the tenor of this game. And don't forget, these teams will meet in a little over an hour Game 2 will be following the Raging Goats and Minutemen's Game 2 after this one, so an entire series could be done today. They don't want to play for a Game 3. They want to tie this one up right now so they have the chance to finish the job later this afternoon. LaForce gets it down. His team on the penalty kill. Both benches standing. This is a big moment. Almost gave it away at the red line, and that could have been huge. Steve Carlos's eyes got big, I'm sure. Sylvia has to send it back up. Mike Paiva gains the zone, or tries to. Now they gain the zone. Patello at that quarterback point position. He's got it. He's got Maselli on his side. Now in corner. Rocha, save of the game. Keeps it out. Maselli tries to set it up in front. Pass doesn't connect. Out on the other side. There's the shot. Turned away again. This one against Paiva. Chargers are buzzing. Mike Paiva. This one down into the corner. Maselli tried to get to it. They keep it alive. Keep it away. Short-handed 2-on-1. Here come the Blue Devils. There's the shot. Save, Sylvia. Back and forth, up and down action. This power play almost expiring. DeRosa standing up in the box. Chargers with some looks, though. Rocha with a spectacular pad stack stop to keep it. And here they come again, short-handed. Oh, we got a whistle behind the play.
That's no doubt a boarding call, and we have a Charger down.
This could be another huge swing. Is that Pacheco? It is.
It is. Oh, boy. So watch the top of the screen. And that extension from behind, and it's Ed Payne. Now with Pacheco walking off, the next question is this going to be a minor or a major?
They're still having a conversation. Lucas Martins having some words with the ref there. I didn't hear the call. I didn't even see who went to the box. You're saying that was... Who did you think that was?
But it has to be Ed Payne. He was the one that threw the hit.
Oh yeah, there we go. So, good call there, and the Chargers get another chance on special teams, but they have to be careful. They gave up some shorthanded chances. Here we are, third period. And they're given a gift and another chance. Lucky for them, Pacheco was able to walk off under his own power, and hopefully he's okay. Rocha's way out. 5.5 left to go, and that one stopped by LePage. There's a push against Patello, and a hand is up. It was just an offside. Delayed offside is cleared. Blue Devils send it down. Chargers have half a period to tie this one up. Cordero gains the line. And a whistle.
It's offside.
Just barely.
We're talking about power plays. We didn't even get to Rocha's big save. He went old school. I want to see if we got a replay of that on the next whistle.
No kidding. That was a huge double pad stack on the penalty kill. In the meantime, Chargers back on the power play. Second consecutive. Maselli loses it in the slot and it gets sent down again. each clear, continuing to energize the Blue Devils. On the left wing side, LePage gets it in and delivered all the way back down. Now Sylvia, he's going to come out, perhaps inspired by watching Rocha on the other side. LaForce was ready to make him pay for that one. Player goes down again as that one sent up and out of play with 4:29 to go.
All right, here's that save I'm talking about here. Look at the left circle, wide open. Sees the opening, sees the pass lane, and then, did that get toe or did that get? I think it did get Rocha off the toe. This is 5 minutes overdue, but that's a Yankee Doodle Dandy save.
An absolute world-class save in the playoffs. And Daniel, we missed your Yankee Doodle Dandies last week, so it's good to have you back. And that one goes up and out of play. There's Rocha standing on his head here in Game 1.
This makes choosing MVP very difficult.
Rocha makes another save, fresh off the face-off. A few seconds tick down, and we'll reset and try again. To Rocha's left. Face-off, one into the corner by the Blue Devils. And immediately the contest begins to try to pick it up. Almost an opportunity there. Oh, loose hand came up against Kamara. He immediately thought better of it and withdrew. Shot the point gets blocked. On the backhand and scooped out by Stockwell. He can't clear the zone himself. Big shot from way out.
Got a penalty.
Hand is up. And we've got another penalty as the rough stuff continues.
It's a cross check. It happened at center. Yeah, watch the top of your screen. And I think it's going to be Payne again. Yeah, that was no doubt a cross check to the body.
Well, Stockwell's in the box. And there's Ed Payne, so I think it is going to be Justin Stockwell who's going to sit.
Yeah, you're right.
And now the timeout is called by the Blue Devils. 3:56 left to go, third period here of Game 1. And they hold the slightest of margins, 1-0. This is going to be the third straight penalty kill here in the third period. Daniel, what are the Blue Devils doing so right that has kept them going here in this game?
It's been a combination of defense and, of course, some spectacular goaltending in Rocha. And see everyone just gathering around. And I guarantee you, when he's telling the team, stop taking penalties. Because that was I think as one of them was saying, it was an unnecessary one. Let's listen in.
Great look there by the camera, Rob Rieger. Thanks for that. And we got a little bit of that conversation, and the gist of it is exactly what you said, Daniel. Keep your mouth shut, don't talk to the refs, stop taking penalties, and let's close out this Game 1. So here we go. They've got another minute and a half up on the clock to kill another penalty in front of Jason Rocha. Blue Devils leading this one 1-0. I talked at the top of the show about the Southcoast Chargers going to an 8-1-1-0 record. The Blue Devils were 5-0-0-5, a very different regular season, but that's what makes the playoffs so special. Teams and individuals with the chance to rise to the occasion. John Pacheco back out there after taking a hit earlier in the period that resulted in another one of the penalties against the Blue Devils, and he wins it back. LePage has it. Down for Botello. Across from Maselli to Paiva. Paiva has to move it quick, and he gave it away. Walked down and sent into the corner. Had more time bleeding off this clock. Tom LePage waltzes it up ahead. Patello gains the line, and there's a shot, no rebound. Rocha hangs on.
Well, he certainly had that lane from the high circle, but Rocha just continues to have the game of his season. And yeah, coming all the way from the point, just plenty of time for him to find that one.
Still on the power play. That one kicked out of play by Ed Payne. That one forward by the Blue Devils, but the Chargers come away with it. LePage takes this shot, and that goes wide. Stopped up in the slot. Save, Rocha. 3:04 to go. And he just continues to do exactly what he needs to do to give his team a chance to win.
You see the Chargers trying to drive the side. Eddie Patello in the slot in a high-scoring area, but Rocha reads it perfectly and just lets the ball hit the logo.
Pacheco wins it back. Still on the power play. It seems like it's been forever. The Chargers still have it. Patello sends it behind the net. Tried to cause some chaos in front. Wouldn't happen. They still have it. Maselli across to Paiva. Maselli loads up and takes the shot. Rocha turns away the first one. Second one. They score! Chargers tie it up, and you give them one too many chances, and who else? Eddie Botello ties this one at 1.
It's deja vu. Starts with a shot from Christian Maselli. The rebound comes up to Botello. Gets him while Rocha is down. What did I say earlier? This is what happened. This is what had happened in the Milet Cup. The Chargers are a clutch team. Third period, late stages, and got the near side.
And just like that, it's a 1-1 game. Chargers have been feeling it for a while now. They finally break through and solve Rocha, and we'll see if that's the spark they needed. Turning and firing is Barbosa.
So now the momentum on the Chargers side. They've been fighting for that all game long.
.219 to go. Face off one ahead. Chargers still have it. Player goes down in front. Not sure what happened there. Looked like, well, hang on, we got a whistle.
Not clear. Oh, it's a player down, and oh boy. That is Steve Carlos. Well, where's 89 in all this? Here he comes. And, oh no! The stick came up to the face. This was unintentional because it was a slip. Very unfortunate. Oh no.
It doesn't look like this is going to result in an odd man situation, though.
Yeah, I would not expect it to because, well, of course, the refs don't have the benefit of our replay, but you see his feet slip from under him, and he's trying to catch his balance, and they are going to send him. Oh, that is very unfortunate.
You know, I saw Crowley go down in the moment, but I didn't see the stick, so great look there, Justin. Thanks for that replay in studio. We have that benefit that you can only find here on the NBHL on MVP. And now the pendulum swings in the other direction. Late goings of the third, and the Blue Devils rode most of this game on the strength of a kind of fluky Mike Silva goal. Now's their chance to get it back. Two minutes left to go, so they'll spend the majority of it on the power play unless they can capitalize, as that one bounces off the end boards. Sails down and picked up by Payne. More pressure by the Chargers. Blue Devils playing patiently. They want to get the entry. They do. LaForce is the first one on it. Cole LaForce. He's been held to the outside for the majority of this one. Duarte one-hands it to keep it alive. To the point on the rebound. Digging away at it, and eventually the whistle goes.
The Blue Devils have got to take advantage of this opportunity, because they'll probably won't get one like this again in this game. And well, he kept chopping away a couple of times, and the Chargers not going to risk taking a penalty.
And on the penalty goal, shoveled ahead by Evan Barbosa. Rocha's way out, minute 15 left to go here in the third period, and we're tied at 1. In front of the bench, the Blue Devils led the majority of this game. That lead has disappeared. The defending Tier 2 champs tying this one up late in Game 1. Semi-final play. Duarte sends that one into the corner. Blue Devils still have it on the power play. There's a shot, rebound! No! LaForce had an opportunity. Sylvia keeps it out.
Cole LaForce has been in front of the net all game long, but none of the bounces have gone his way, because it came right to him, but unfortunately at a little too hot as it came off his shoulder. Had that settled down, this would have been 2-1.
Sylvia looks like he's got a strap problem on his right pad, so teams get a little bit of an extra breather for a few seconds. There's not much time left here in the third, and we are tied at 1. Jonathan Ferreira set to take the offensive zone draw. Not much time left in this power play either, as we're under 40 seconds to go in the game in regulation time. Blue Devils have it. Well, you know what? Maybe you're right, Daniel. This could be not just a minor, as it looks like Crowley is parked and not going anywhere. 15 seconds left to go. That shot sails up and out. 12.7 left to go here in the third.
Yeah, because if that high stick drew blood, it's a double minor.
I think you're right. Chargers have a short-handed face-off chance here. More pushing and shoving. Oh. Both players acting like it wasn't anything. Ed and Eddie, Payne and Botello, getting into it. Last 10 seconds, more arguing with the official. This one behind the net. Last chance maybe, and the horn sounds. In the meantime here, we are in the fourth period, overtime. Chargers and Blue Devils semifinal in the New England Tier 2 division. Play is underway. Rocha swings that one. Now on the other side. Chargers take a shot that gets blocked. On the other side, Pacheco swing and a miss. Jason Perry, he goes down. No call. Chargers shorthanded, causing some chaos. Sent in by Barbosa.
They're calling intentional offside.
Arguments about where it should be.
They're going to bring it to center. They overruled it.
I heard Blue Devils players saying all the way down, right? All the way down. Oh no, it was Chargers players arguing that. And the Blue Devils didn't like it. So it's just going to go back to center. Still killing that penalty are the Chargers. We've had several back-to-back-to-back successful penalty kills here in the third period and now into overtime. Sylvia just going to clamp on top of that one with less than 1 minute away here in overtime.
And just a reminder, we are in playoffs, so the rules are a little bit different. We keep playing till there is a winner. There is no shootout.
And we do stay 5-on-5, at least as soon as the term is served for the Chargers. And as soon as Jordan Crowley is released, and looks like he's out now. So we are back to 5-on-5.
A little dispute about who's changing, because it went out of play from behind the blue line. The Devils had to bring their original line back out.
4 straight penalty kills for the Chargers. Now they try to mount some offense on the other side. Kept out. On the other end, DeRosa. Up to the blue line, takes the shot. Goes wide. DeRosa takes a look, makes a move. He has it behind the net. Just tries to center. Bouncer goes nowhere. Batted out of the air. Glove down at the red line, but his team has to change up. They do. Tag up, rather. On the other side. No, Blue Devils get it back in. LaForce takes the shot. Rebound on the other side. And that one comes back around. 2 good chances for the Blue Devils. Showing they've got some speed of their own. Chargers. Now they have a chance. Down low. Maselli backs off and goes down in the slot. Just had his head down. I don't think they're going to call it. Oh, we got a whistle.
Well. Just when we thought we're going back to even play, you can see that the Chargers not happy about it. That's Roy Camaro. No, it's going to be against the Chargers. It's Christian Maselli.
Yeah. Maselli was arguing. I mean, you got the benefit of replay here. It looked to me like he wasn't looking, and he ran into a Blue Devils player who was stationary in front of his own net, and Maselli went down, and he got angry about that. I think that's a good non-call. I don't think the Blue Devils players did anything wrong there.
Oh, it's that they called.
Yeah.
It's the stick flying.
Nonetheless, another Chargers penalty. Their special teams has been strong. Let's see if anything comes of it. Blue Devils would love to see some offense of their own. They have to back all the way off. Pacheco would love a steal right here. Swing and a miss for Barbosa. Here come the Chargers. On the right-hand side, shot! Rocha, save, rebound, save! And Pacheco is denied the OT winner.
And he is no stranger to overtime winners. Look at all that space. Gets the original shot. Rocha makes the initial stop. And the rebound opportunity actually may have gone off a Blue Devil foot, but Rocha does do his job and makes the stop.
The Chargers are still shorthanded, but they keep getting scoring opportunities. This one coming all the way down. Cordero gets on it first, and he's going to slap it. Tried to go the length of the court, and that one looked like it hit somebody on the Blue Devils bench.
Don't forget, they also have tier 1, tier 2.
We're just going to bring the draw to neutral.
Blue Devils. They do win this face-off, get it in deep. Here in overtime of game 1. In the corner. Back up to the point. Now it's starting to look like a power play. Stockwell takes the shot that gets blocked. Second chance! Tried to send that one on net and it wouldn't go. Chargers with speed. It's Botello who takes this shot. Rocha save, rebound! Botello goes down!
And a little bit of extracurricular. Look out! As everyone was not happy about the crash by Eddie Botello. And I'm just looking at the stick there. I don't know. I think he just ran out of room.
More shouting as tensions continue to rise, and it makes me wonder what game 2 is going to look like. Mike Paiva and Jonathan Ferreira in the circle. Ferreira wins it forward, flipped ahead. A bouncer in feet by Cordero. All the way back for the Blue Devils. Still technically on the power play, although it certainly hasn't looked like it. Maselli has it. Tried to hit Botello. Paiva tried to break it. He couldn't. Now steal by Botello. Surrounded by defenders. Couldn't make anything with it in Ferreira. His team gains the zone. Left-hand shot. There's another shot. The stick shatters. And he's got to go. Good break there for the Chargers. We are back to even strength again. 5-on-5. And another penalty kill for the Chargers. But they gave it away. Kamara. This one getting in deep for DeRosa. He's the first one on it. Almost across the crease. The force is right back out there. And here comes the but way! Rocha stacks the pads again! Kamara on the other side. There's a player down. And eventually we get the whistle. And is that LaForce? I think it is.
It is. See what happened here. I think it was a collision. So watch the right side of your screen. Oh, he took a forearm shiver. And while they're sorting that out, let's take a look at this breakaway save by Rocha. Comes out to the top of the crease. And old school style Yankee Doodle Dandy save. That's definitely going on the highlight reel this week.
Spectacular performance by Rocha. And we are still tied at 1. Blue Devils win the draw. Under pressure, has to make a play fast, and Perry does. More pressure. Actually, that was Martin's. Perry was on the other end. Martins holds the zone temporarily. He's got to do it again. Frank. He tried to come in with speed. Battling for it. That one comes up and out. Stockwell gets it out. There's a shot that goes wide by Perry. And a bouncer, the Chargers, Barbosa, and he lost it. On the other side. And Rocha easily picks that one up. And back and forth we go.
Jason Rocha has been looking more and more impressive as the game has gone along. We've been seeing his best hockey in the late stages of this game. And I was looking more that it was the defense holding things up for the Blue Devils. But now it's really being Rocha making those critical stops that's really turning this game.
And here comes LaForce. Forced to turn up. He takes a shot from a bad angle, way outside. Looking for the rebound maybe, and it doesn't go. No icing on this one. Oh no, Rocha wanted it, and I heard people say no icing. I don't know what the argument is here. That seemed like a pretty clear icing call, but I keep hearing players say no icing. It's clearly an icing.
Well, no matter how many times you say it, it's the refs that count.
It's a good point. Duarte trying to win it for his team. LaForce is ready for the one-timer. Didn't go. And the Chargers have it defensively. This overtime period more than halfway gone as we will continue until we have a winner. And another whistle sees it coming all the way back again.
Well, now it's looking like the Chargers that are the ones that are getting stuck in their zone, as they have been taking a couple of icings, unable to change. And with this being overtime, they're on the long change.
They want to try to feed LaForce there. They can't quite win it cleanly, but another out-of-play ball lets them try it again.
And again, still
Dominic
unable
DeRosa.
to change because it was clear from behind their blue line.
Chargers do win this one, but they haven't gotten it out yet. Pacheco. Now he's got a chance. Tried to send that one over for Frank. Into the corner. Now up high. Pacheco gets that one. Rimmed around. And this one just staying to the perimeter. Now right up the middle. Duarte sends it back. He takes a tumble. LaForce with a shot from outside. And this one back around. Chargers leaning in on LaForce. Blue Devils have it. The stutter step takes a look. Shot stays to the outside. Kevin Pacheco ribs that one around on the perimeter. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was Carrero. And a bouncer. Sticks come together, and Rocha scoops that one up. And we'll freeze and get another face-off.
As we look at both these teams play in overtime, it's starting to become more and more even. Blue Devils have just played up to the Chargers standard, something that really hasn't been done all season long.
We're seeing with the physical play increasing that there is a bit of frustration that's crept in. But now with, I want to say, at least 5 consecutive penalty kills by the Chargers, it's certainly not serving as a deterrent for them to not play physical. Shot from the red line just to gain the zone. An active stick by the Blue Devils. Carlos coming back and forth. Good to see him back out there after taking that high stick to the mouth. He is all over his man and does dispossess. DeRosa wanted to spring him on the rush. He saw the opportunity for a 2-on-1. They couldn't connect. And the Chargers will get it in deep. Again, it's Botello. He's surrounded by white jerseys. And that one blocked by DeRosa. Dominic DeRosa gets to it with 2 minutes left in this overtime frame. And they can't keep it alive. Chargers settle at the red line. Gain the zone. A lot of neutral zone activity right now. Very even. LePage behind the net. He's facing off against Ferreira. Getting help from Martins. Martins hammers that one, but it's touched by a Charger player, so no icing. Or maybe not. Oh, I thought a Chargers player got a piece of that in front of the benches. I guess not.
And 1:24 remaining in overtime. They still can't figure out either goaltender. And the Blue Devils are... Oh, there's actually a downed Blue Devil. I heard timeout called, but I see someone on their knees.
I also heard timeout called. Not sure if they get extra timeouts in continuous overtime, but that does look like an injury timeout. Lucas Martins slow to get up. Well, everyone's stopped here. Not 100% sure. And it does look like an injury timeout. But as far as I can tell, Martins is still out there.
So with the timeout by the Blue Devils, they're going to try to sort things out on their defensive end. But they really need to look for a big push here. Because everyone's defense has been rock solid. I'd say keep moving that ball, use the screen.
Botello running after that one. Rocha punts it out but doesn't get it clear. And gloves it down again. Teams will get their changes.
And these two teams still have another game to play. I wonder how their endurance is going to be.
Yeah, no question about it. This is going to affect everything. Of course, the other game that we didn't cover, the Mass Minutemen and the Rhode Island Raging Goats, also went to overtime, but it was resolved much quicker than this. There's a chance in front. Rocha had to react from his knees. Stockwell gets it in deep for his team. LaForce seems like he's been out there the entire overtime. On the other side, Chargers having trouble. And that shot goes wide. Under a minute to go here in the first overtime. Botello has it! Owen Rocha makes the stop! Are you kidding?
We can make this the hat trick of Yankee Doodle Dandy saves. That's the third one for Rocha. As he had one all alone in front of him. And just once again goes for the old school style.
He is making stops in every way that he can.
And the Chargers
and nobody really in there. There is some exhaustion. You look at Rocha. He's looking pretty beat. He can only do so much, right?
Yeah, you're not coming in here expecting to play this much extra hockey and then You still have one more game to play later tonight. So, but Rocha still looking like he has the skills in him to pull out those clutch stops. But I don't know how much longer he can take.
I hear you now. Hit it. I think I hit it. Blue Devils are back out. Chargers are lining up as well. Less than a minute to go here in the first overtime. Christian Maselli. And I believe that's Jonathan Ferreira. Oh no, that's Jason Perry. One back. Paiva works it to his forehand. Rocha cartwheeling around. Coming all the way back down for Sylvia. Slows things down. Pitches it to the side with 20 seconds left to go. They do gain the line. Patella was in front of the net. Couldn't make anything happen there. Seconds ticking down. Shot from well out by Stockwell. And it gets frozen with 2.5 seconds left to go here in overtime.
We've been seeing this a lot lately, but I would have no problem with the Blue Devils pulling Rocha for the net for the extra attacker with only 2 seconds left.
Doesn't look like they're going to do it, though. They try the overload. It just gets beat back. The horn will sound. 4 periods in the book. Still no winner. But for the Raging Goats and Minutemen players, they're probably okay with the extra rest, as their game 1 went into overtime as well. Here we go. 5th period underway. Double overtime. Semifinals in New England Tier 2, and it feels like we're starting to enter that ugly, fluky goal territory. Obviously, the next one wins, and it's just game 1, with game 2 being played later on this afternoon. Now bordering into the evening as the time continues to tick down, not just in our games, but in reality. The sun creeping closer to the horizon as Brandon Sylvia gloves that one down for the Chargers.
Yeah, at this point, I start setting up screens and just hope for a tip, because nothing else just seems to work.
Rocha plays that one out from well outside again. And another face-off. This has also been a game punctuated by a lot of whistles. So both teams really struggling to have a lot of pace or rhythm to their game. Whether it's penalties, icings, or just the ball being out of play, it's hard to establish anything consistent. Pacheco swung at that one in the slot. Joey Frank has it in the corner, and he's just going to look for generating some chaos in front of the net, and it didn't happen. Blue Devils with a 3-on-2. LaForce takes a shot from well outside. Sylvia makes the stop. Tried to set up on the other side. Jonathan Ferreira's pass gets broken up. And a 2-on-2 rush. Pacheco takes a shot that goes just away. Blue Devils, careful. Duarte in front of his goaltender. And they do give it away. Here come the Chargers. Carrero down for Pacheco. Tried to walk that one up the circle and couldn't go. Broken up. Pacheco shot! And Rocha makes the stop.
Seems that the Chargers have been relying on John Pacheco to have that overtime winner. Again, a guy who is very experienced and has made himself a legend in New England, and the one responsible for bringing the Mila Cup back to Swansea, Massachusetts.
You know they want to defend the title, but here they are in the semis. And they're one goal away from going down 1-0 in the series. So in order to defend the title, you have to defend it at home to even earn the right to play for it. They trailed the majority of this game, only to tie it up on the strength of an Ed Botello goal late in the third. And there's another shot that was a good look. And they couldn't make anything of it as this one comes back down for another icing.
If you imagine how the players feel on the rink, gotta wonder how the refs are feeling. They've been at this all day long. It's like, someone please end this game.
I think everyone's feeling that to some degree. Chargers have it again. Shot from out. Off the end boards. Paiva works it up the wall. They play catch. Still pressed into the half corner. Half boards. And Blue Devils attack immediately turned away. Kamara couldn't do anything with it. Stockwell takes the shot. Now has it on his backhand and couldn't get it on net. Steve Carlos tried to keep it and he couldn't. Now Carlos has it. Lost it in his feet at the scorer's bench. Tried to send it to an outlet, but there was no one home. Over 3 minutes gone here in the second overtime. Blue Devils have to try to take a look here and be careful. They can't get it out. LePage sends it back in deep and gives it away. But he gets it back. Swings at it on the backhander. And another whistle as play will continue.
I am losing my mind right now. I've seen a lot of zone play from both sides. No one really drawing up anything. They're just trying to see what is open, what is not.
There's times when it almost feels like a regular season game and they're just playing for the extra point. Except there is no extra point, guys. You got to get the goal. You got to win it. Now, with speed, here come the Chargers in the other direction and stopped again. Like you said at the top of the show, Daniel, this is all about good defense. Chargers find some speed. Massa found his legs for a second. Couldn't turn it into a shot. Crowley with an opportunity. He had a couple penalties in the third period, but that feels so long ago. Players get tangled up and fall. No call on that. For a second, I thought the official's hand was up. He's just trying to keep the sun out of his eyes. In the corner, players leaning in. That ball's not going anywhere, so I expect a whistle, and we get it.
Hey, I'm trying to think of what was the longest. The longest game that I recall was the Tier 1 semifinals between the Marlton Dogs and the Buffalo 716ers, and you look at the record book for this one.
I don't like where you're going with this, Daniel. Nonetheless, we are in double overtime, and that one gloved forward but not out. Chargers get that one in covered by Rocha with 5:39 left to go in the second overtime, the fifth period. We are still here in game one. You can check your clocks. No, we didn't finish ahead of schedule, and this is not game two. This is still game one. Chargers win that one. Crowley rims it around, tries to find a man, but they can't control it cleanly. But the Blue Devils can't get it out. Dominic DeRosa forced to retreat a little bit. Zach Massa punches it in. They try to make a play from behind the net. Massa swung at it. Crowley, his play goes wide and comes all the way back around for Cordero. The big guns getting some rest out here right now as the depth being flexed on both sides. Crowley with a shot that's fought off by Rocha. Frank couldn't hold it. one's going to come down. No icing. Carrero has to settle it in his own end. Couldn't make anything happen there, and a shot tried to challenge Sylvia. LaForce showing some speed as he got his legs back, at least for a moment. And Maselli takes a shot from way out, trying to challenge Rocha and catch him, maybe asleep. Maselli with another shot! Paiva at the doorstep, and that wouldn't go. Nifty little behind the back pass, but it goes nowhere. There's a shot by Cordero. And almost only one player saw it. And thankfully for Rocha, it was a Blue Devil, because that could have been devastating if a Chargers player found that loose ball. They don't. It goes for icing. 4:01. Double overtime.
That burst of energy from Call of Force, you had to know when was the right time to attack. Wasn't quite the one.
He liked what he saw there. And he drew a penalty.
Penalty.
So there he is, using that speed and that energy. He gets the penalty, but the Chargers have 5 straight penalty kills. We'll see if the Blue Devils can make anything of this one. If anything, the Chargers have been very dangerous shorthanded.
But they certainly have had some chances on the power play. To see the slide, trying to keep him out of the shooting lane. But this was just one of those things where he felt like he had to take a penalty, but this could be a critical one.
Maselli. Rocha comes way out, gives it back to Maselli. Getting dangerous now. Chargers feeling good. It's Botello and Maselli, short-handed, on the attack. Payne, little shovel pass, gets it forward. It doesn't go! Cole LaForce with an excellent opportunity, the best chance in overtime. His team still has the power play. Right-hand side, shot goes wide again. Carlos has to back off. Payne gets to it. Steve Carlos. He settles on that opposite blue line. That was Stockwell driving the net. Pacheco forechecking on the PK. 2:40 left here in the second overtime of game 1. These teams still have a second game to play today. LaForce using his speed. Gets to it on the backhand and a big save by Sylvia. On the other side, Chargers trying to keep everyone in white to the outside. Pacheco chasing after Rocha, who still manages to deftly handle that one. He's not afraid of double OT to still make those plays. We're back to even. And another penalty kill for the Chargers. There's no question that's going to be the story heading into game 2, one way or the other. The special teams battle definitely won at the end of the day by the Chargers PK. Another frozen ball and another whistle. 1:46 here in the second overtime.
We haven't been seeing many difficult saves by Brendan Sylvia, but he just made a big one there. Cole LaForce feels like he can use his speed to get around a tired Chargers team, and that may be the key here. If you can find a little bit of boost of energy, try to drive the net.
Chargers have it on the attack again. Evan Barbosa. Turning and firing from just outside. Three Devils get it down. Sylvia covers. Thinks about keeping the play alive. but Mike Silva's presence makes him reconsider, and the ball gets frozen yet again.
Yeah, it is 7:04 on the East Coast, and this is where Game 2 of Chargers Blue Devils was supposed to start. But it's a combination of this game being in double overtime plus an overtime from the game before.
And we play on. Here come the Chargers. Zach Massa can't beat out the icing. And it'll come back.
And you know what that does?
Rocha.
And you know what that does? It wastes energy on the Chargers. You're chasing that ball all the way down, and you have to come all the way back. The Blue Devils need to take advantage of this right now.
This could be huge. Pereira wins the face-off forward. Takes a look backhander! In front, Sylvia makes the save. And now in the other direction, here's Botello. Botello takes this shot. Rocha rebound and stays there. Jason Rocha answers. Pereira in front of the scorer's bench. He has to fight off Massa. On the other side, sliding Sylvia comes way out. The flying poke check keeps it alive. We're seeing some action here. Botello kicks it back to Carrero. Crowley is offside with 27.7.
So here's the chance by the Blue Devils. Goes on the forecheck. And Jonathan Ferreira trying to look for the Syrian lane, but then the other way. Shot on it, and once again, Rocha down on his behind it to keep this one going. And then one more time, I have to say, I am impressed by Mike Silva's play, not giving up on it, trying to go for the chip play. Didn't work this time.
I was wrong. It wasn't an offside. It was an icing. So it comes all the way back, but it doesn't matter. Chargers have it with speed. Maselli lost it. LaForce thought he could get through and can't. Lots of neutral zone play, like you said, Daniel. 5 ticks to go. None doing. We're going to see triple overtime here in Game 1. Players are exhausted.
This is our 3rd year doing this. This is the first time we've ever gone into triple overtime.
It definitely feels like a fluky goal is going to be what does it. And here we are on the doorstep. Great chance there by the Chargers, and it wouldn't go. Triple overtime underway. And, you know, I would agree with you, Daniel, that it seemed like maybe the Blue Devils have a little bit more until that last sequence to close out the second overtime between Botello and Crowley. They showed me that they've still got it too. This one coming back in and Rocha forced to cover up. But I think this is a situation now where fatigue and errors are really going to be what costs somebody Game 1 here.
And not to mention that they still have to play another game, and I can't imagine that this is like the equivalent of a tournament division.
It really is now. In the other direction, here comes LaForce. Cole LaForce. That one turned away from the slot. Blue Devils still have it. That one loose. Frank first one to it. They get it out. And another icing. John Pacheco hangs his head. He's tired. He's frustrated. And it comes back. And he's going to have to stay out there.
And speaking of Game 2, whoever finally gets that game-winning goal is going to have a big morale boost. It's going to be a huge blow to the one that gives it up, which will play a big factor in Game 2.
No question. No question about it. This is going to ultimately be about the answer in game 2. But in order to get that, we still have to ask the question, who's going to be the hero? Our 6th period now. DeRosa gets it in deep behind Sylvia. But the Chargers have it. On the right-hand side, that one bowled ahead by Cordero. Shot from outside by Maselli. Hands at the blue line, it wouldn't go. Maselli tries to tee up another one. He has a player in front of him, has to make a move. He thought he saw a lane, but no, and that one hit Payne. Maselli on the backhander. Now at the high slot. Tries to get around his man. Couldn't do it. Steve Carlos defending. And Jason Rocha hangs on and keeps this alive.
And you can see Rocha still down on his knees. He is exhausted. And the Chargers nearly took advantage. It has to go with trying to get Rocha to commit to the butterfly and then try to snipe the corner.
Chargers keep the line. Underneath, hit by Carlos around. Maselli was right there on top of Rocha. Tried to send it on the backhand. No one was home. Vitello has it at the blue line. He takes his shot. Maselli couldn't get a solid stick on that one, and that's bouncing. Blue Devils were on the rush, and it wouldn't go. Maselli gains the line. On the other side, there's a shot, goes wide. Payne, first one on it with Vitello, forechecking. LePage tries to get that one in, bouncing, and that one goes just off the bottom of the fencing. LePage still posted up behind the net. Tried for the wraparound, and Rocha hangs on.
LePage almost caught Rocha off guard trying to sneak in the wraparound, but a second too long, otherwise this game would have been over.
Players just exhausted now. Essentially being asked to play 2 games back-to-back. But that's playoff hockey for you. And a big face-off here. Pacheco wins it back. On the other side, Chargers still have it. Carrero gained the zone, couldn't do anything there. Frank battling against Kamara. Kamara's hands in the air to show he's not guilty. That's usually not how that works. And another whistle.
See where they're going to bring this one. They're just going to bring it back to neutral.
I wasn't sure if that was an icing or not. Probably an offside. Nonetheless, it sounds like it was deflected out of play. Nonetheless, we continue on. Ferreira trying to defend. Here comes LaForce with speed. LaForce! Crashing into Sylvia. The ball was left behind. Now LaForce has it in the corner. 4 minutes gone here in the third overtime. Chargers playing ahead, and it's Pacheco. Like you said, Daniel, he's still at least playing like he's got something left. But those players that have it are going to be dwindling as this continues.
And once again, with all the players being tired, eventually, if it keeps going like this, no one's going to have anything left in the tank, and they're just going to have to rely on someone making a mistake. Just no one is budging.
It definitely sets the stage for an interesting game, too, that's for sure. There's an argument here about maybe an illegal change. Or just, now they're just trying to change up the positioning. Face-off won by the Blue Devils, and they flip that one into the neutral zone as they're trying to limit how much sprinting their team has to do. You see that a lot in these long overtimes. Somebody lost their lid. The Chargers player, we continue. There's a shot by Stockwell. Follows it up. Blue Devils haven't had a lot of offense so far in this period, but it only takes one. Carlos has it. Floats that one over for Stockwell. Stockwell takes a shot with a screen in front. Carlos has it again. Play now finds its way behind Sylvia. And that one kicked out. Chargers try to get it in deep, but the Blue Devils possess. Official eventually picks up that lost helmet. Shot from the blue line. Sylvia comes way out and behind his net to cover it, as we have 5:01 remaining in the third overtime.
I talk about setting up screens out in front of the goalie, but it looks like that the players don't even have enough energy to make it to the slots. They're just staying at their usual positions and going with zone play. It seems like they just don't have enough energy even just to make the slot.
Yeah, not unless you're on the defensive side of things, where that's the only place you want to be. Rocha forced to come way out, and that could have been risky. They escape danger. Mike Silva has his team's only goal way back in the first period, back when the sun was still covering the majority of the rink. And the Blue Devils flip that one ahead. Down into the corner. DeRosa. He goes down. Just exhaustion. It's no longer creeping in. It's dominating the situation for everyone. Botello's shot. Stopped by Rocha. Behind the net. They still have it. It's Paiva. Mike Paiva. And that shot again goes wide. Botello, first one to it. Eddie Botello tries to set up in the slot. And the save. Once more. Two spectacular saves by Rocha, robbing Maselli. And this game refuses to end.
Now that one actually got by, but hit the post. Oh! Could someone put us out of our misery? But look at that. On the blocker hand. At this rate, Rocha is going to be taking up the whole top 10 this week.
Wild stuff. Huge, huge saves. Here we are, triple OT. And Rocha refuses to let it go. Stockwell on the other side. There's a shot, they score! This one's over! The Blue Devils have won Game 1 in triple overtime!
Hallelujah! It's finally over! Oh, who's the guy to thank here? Look back on the slot. It's Mike Silva! His second of the game. Thank you so